A major global esports tournament underway that could shape up to be the biggest competition ever in the space. This amidst a huge growth year for the competitive gaming industry. Josh Lipton's ready to get his game on from San Francisco. Hey, Josh.
Mel, let's start with the video game publishers, because so far this month in the red, Activision, Electronic Arts, and Take-Two all losing some steam here. Piper's Mike Olson says, for one, higher multiple stocks did get hit hard in that market pullback. We know that. Two, typical seasonality. Investors get excited, but then don't always stick around for when the games actually publish. And this is a crowded title slate this year, so some investors might be concerned about wallet share getting stretched too thin, he says. I also checked in with Michael Pachter of Wedbush. Bottom line, he says such worries are misplaced, that investors should expect a strong holiday season with lots of new compelling content. He rates all three big publishers a buy. Activision and Take-Two still up strongly on the year. It's not just about the holidays, though. Investors in these companies also interested in how they're capitalizing on esports, and for good reason. The total audience for esports this year, 395 million. That is a jump of 18%, according to Newzoo. And esports revenue will reach $900 million in 2018. That's a 37% jump. One important player in this market, League of Legends, published by Tencent-owned Riot Games. League of Legends is the biggest and most watched esports league, according to Newzoo. In fact, the 2018 League of Legends World Championship is going on right now in Korea. The winner will raise the trophy there on November 3rd. Last year, 80 million unique viewers watched the semifinals. Mel, back to you.
All right, Josh, thanks. Josh Lipton in San Francisco. For more on the current state of esports, let's bring in one of the creators of the world's biggest league. Chris Hopper is the head of North America Esports at Riot Games, the publisher behind League of Legends. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
I understand you go by Chopper, so Chopper. You've been at Riot for a long time, so you've seen certainly the progression of the league and the competition and the interest in esports. As esports goes more corporate, it gets sponsors, et cetera. How does that change the look and the feel of the tournaments and what you guys are able to do?
You know, what's really great about esports is we're able to capitalize so much on traditional sports, and we're able to look at the decades of growth that baseball and basketball and football have had. And in a lot of ways, we're able to look at that and say, how are these guys able to integrate sponsors without losing what made those sports special? And so we're trying to do the same with esports. We're trying to keep the community incredibly passionate. We're trying to keep that tight connection to the players. We're trying to keep them aspirational in the sense that they can become these pro players themselves. We're trying to shorten the loop between their gameplay at home and the pro play they see on stage. And in a large way, sponsors don't actually detract from that. A lot of our fans actually support sponsors coming into the space because they want to see more investment into the ecosystem. So we've actually seen threads on Reddit saying, we want more ads, we want more title sponsors, like give us more, because it supports the industry that they love so much.
How does it help Riot? I mean, Riot's basically spent $100 million every year in esports for the last few years.
That's my CFO reminds.
Still haven't broken even, though.
Yeah.
I mean, what sort of phase are you at right now, and do you foresee a time in the near future where you will break even?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, when we built esports initially, it was built on a value premise to our fans. And so in a sense, it was kind of the Field of Dreams model. We figured if we built it, they would come. And they did come. Millions of them came. But we never thought about who kind of pays to keep the lights on in the cornfield, in a sense. And now we're dealing with that problem. And so we're developing a lot of the capabilities of working through sponsorships, getting better distribution and content deals, and really kind of leveling up the monetization element, because we always want to avoid putting the burden on the fans. It would have been super easy to just, you know, slap a paywall on there, make this a pay-per-view event. But from the start, we wanted to remove that economic burden to increase accessibility to the fans. So we kind of went the hard way, but you know, we're gaining that ground back now.
So what are some of the levers that you can pull in order to increase your profitability? And does Tencent, which is a publicly traded company, which has not been doing well because it's listed in China, are they putting some pressure on you?
No, Tencent's been a great partner from the start with esports. They're actually our esport operator as well in China. So they help to operate the Chinese league called the LPL, which is one of the most successful leagues in the world. You know, from our side, the main levers that we're trying to pull are with sponsorships and also with our content distribution. So we work with partners like Twitch, YouTube, ESPN Plus to put our content out. Different regions globally are working with, you know, Naver, Huya, QQ, depending on region. And for us, it's about finding the right partners to work with who are going to help us monetize against the value that our audience brings without pushing the economic burden back to that audience. So we recently announced a global partnership with Mastercard that's been very well received. We've worked with partners like Acer, State Farm, Jersey Mike's this year, and you know, we've got a lot on the plate for 2019 that we're really excited to kind of ramp into.
Well, we hope you'll come back and keep us posted, Chris.
Absolutely, would love to.
Great, thank you. Chris Hopper. of Riot.
Chopper.
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 The Chop.
I mean,
And then-
Chopper,
man.
please.
Well,
It's interesting, obviously I think the demographic for esports, either players and viewers, is pretty finite, right? And it's also that kind of Netflix and spill sort of category too. So I wonder at some point if we start seeing this as it's just growing like crazy, kind of take some share from some of these other forms of entertainment ultimately. And I think it seems like it's kind of here to stay. But the most interesting thing is like the advertising opportunities, the sponsorship opportunities. That's kind of growing that online ad pie, and I think that's also pretty interesting.